Starseed from Gaia, the storm that almost broke you, was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to reveal you. I am Aurelia, emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light, and I am speaking to you directly in this moment because the Arcturian Council has seen what you have carried in silence. They have witnessed every night you held yourself together when no one was watching, every moment you chose not to collapse, every battle you fought without an audience, and they are asking me to tell you now, you won, not loudly, not with applause. You won in the quiet dignity of your own endurance, and that victory is written into the fabric of your soul's record. By the end of this transmission, you will understand exactly how to recognize the completion of your hardest karmic cycle and align your energy with the new chapter your higher self has already prepared for you. But here is the first revelation. The silence you survived was not abandonment, it was initiation. The Arcturian Council does not send their strongest emissaries into easy seasons. They send them into the fire and they watch, not to see if they fall, but to see what rises. You did not scroll to this transmission by mistake. This message moved into your field because something inside you already knew the test was ending. Something ancient in you felt the shift before your mind could name it. You have been waiting to exhale. This is that moment. If this transmission is landing in your chest right now, like a truth you have been holding alone, let someone else hear it too. Share it with the starseed who is still standing in the middle of their silence, still fighting, still choosing to remain. Be the voice that reaches them the way this one is reaching you. Subscribe and stay close, because what is coming next in your activation requires you to be present, aligned, and ready to receive. This is not content. This is a code delivered at the exact moment your soul signaled it was ready. The Arcturian Council does not transmit without purpose. Your hardest test is behind you, and you passed it in a way that heaven itself took notice of. You are not here by accident. And now, before we go deeper into what the Arcturian Council is revealing for this next chapter of your path, there is something being made available for those who feel the pull to go further. Some transmissions don't come through words, but through frequency. If something stirred within you just now, you may be ready to receive the Arcturian Stellar Scroll. This short yet powerful ebook carries ancient Arcturian techniques for conscious expansion, multidimensional alignment, and mission remembrance. The link is in the first pinned comment, but only for a limited time. Now let us go deeper, because what the Arcturian Council wants you to understand is not simply that you survived. Survival is the surface. What happened inside of you during that silence, during those months or years of carrying more than any soul should carry alone, was something far more precise than endurance. It was recalibration. Your entire energy body was being rewired for a frequency that your former self could not have held. And the reason it felt so painful, the reason it felt like loss and confusion and isolation, is because you were being cleared of timelines that were never aligned with your true origin. You were shedding contracts that were made before your remembering began. And the system that runs the lower frequencies of this dimension does not release you quietly. It pushes back. It creates noise. It manufactures doubt in the exact language your deepest wounds understand. Most starseeds never realize this is happening while it is happening. They interpret the resistance as failure. They look at the collapse of relationships, the dissolution of careers, the disappearance of people they loved, and they conclude that something went wrong. But nothing went wrong. The Arcturian Council designed your path with a precision that your linear mind cannot fully map. Those losses were extractions. The silence was a frequency chamber. And what felt like the darkest period of your life was actually the most intense phase of your multidimensional upgrade. Here is where most starseeds stay disconnected, and this matters deeply because it is the pattern that can keep even the most awake soul circling the edge of their mission without ever fully landing. The disconnection does not come from a lack of spiritual awareness. It does not come from not trying hard enough or not believing deeply enough. The disconnection comes from a residue, an energetic overlay that was placed over your true signal long before you arrived in this body. Some of it came through your lineage, carried in the cellular memory of ancestors who were themselves cut off from their own multidimensional knowing. Some of it came through the conditioning of a world that rewards smallness and punishes the kind of luminosity you carry. And some of it, the Arcturian Council is very clear about this, came from agreements made in other dimensions and other lifetimes that you did not consciously choose to carry into this one, but carried anyway because your soul is loyal and your field is vast and you absorb what others cannot hold. The result is that many starseeds walk through this life feeling like they are almost themselves, almost in alignment, almost remembering there is a veil that is thin enough to sense the truth behind it, but thick enough to create the ache of not quite reaching it. That ache is not weakness. That ache is the call. It is your galactic coding pressing against the distortion, asking to be activated, asking to be spoken, asking to finally be allowed to move through you without interference. And this is where your transformation begins, not with a dramatic event, not with a lightning strike of awakening, but with the willingness to acknowledge that what you have been carrying is not yours to carry anymore. The first phase of your activation is the decoding of the distortion itself. Your energy field is still holding frequencies that belong to other people, other timelines, other agreements. Until you consciously begin to release them, your starseed codes remain in a kind of protected dormancy, present but inaccessible, like a star that is shining behind a cloud. The Arcturian Council works with light as information, and the information that is encoded in your soul's blueprint cannot fully transmit through a field that is overloaded with foreign frequencies. This is why so many awakened souls feel the truth of who they are, but cannot seem to actualize it in this dimension. The signal is real. The channel simply needs to be cleared. The second phase is the awakening of the blueprint itself. And here the Arcturian Council asks you to receive something that your mind may initially resist. You are not broken. You never were. The confusion, the years of searching, the moments of spiritual despair where you wondered if any of this was real. None of that was evidence of failure. It was evidence of depth. Only a soul carrying a profound degree of encoded light would generate that much internal pressure toward truth. Your DNA is not simply biological. It is galactic scripture written in matter, and that scripture has been waiting for the precise vibrational conditions to begin its next activation sequence. Those conditions are now present. The storm created them. Your endurance confirmed them. And the moment you are in right now is not accidental. It is the result of thousands of coordinates aligning across multiple timelines so that this transmission could reach you at exactly the right moment of your readiness. The third phase is the anchoring of your higher self into this dimension with full conscious presence. This is where many starseeds stumble, because there is a part of them that has associated awakening with departure, with rising above the heaviness of this world, with transcending the body, with escaping the difficulty of physical existence. But the Arcturian Council is very deliberate in their correction of this misunderstanding. Your mission is not above this dimension. It is in it. Your expanded awareness, your multidimensional intelligence, your connection to star lineages and galactic wisdom, all of it is meant to be brought down and anchored into the daily texture of your human life. because that is where the recalibration happens. Not in the higher realms, which are already in alignment. It happens here in the dense, beautiful, challenging reality of Earth, where your frequency can do its most profound work. The fourth phase is the activation of your field as a living transmission. You do not need to convince anyone of your path. You do not need to explain yourself, defend your knowing, or justify the way you experience reality. Your energy is the message. When you are in alignment, when your field is clear and your soul codes are active, you emit a frequency that interacts with the fields of everyone around you. You recalibrate without effort. You inspire without strategy. You become a presence that reminds others, without a single word, that there is more to this existence than what has been shown to them. That is the Arcturian mission template, not performance, radiation, not explanation, emission. The fifth phase is the mastery of galactic timing, and this may be the most difficult phase for minds that have been trained by a world that measures progress, invisible outcomes, and linear schedules. Your ascension is not linear. Your mission does not follow a calendar. The moments that felt like setbacks were often the most important activations of your entire journey. The relationships that ended were completing soul contracts that had to close before new ones could open. The doors that did not open were protecting you from timelines that would have pulled you off course. And the silence, the long, painful, confusing silence, was not the absence of your star family's guidance. It was a period in which they were doing their most precise work within your field, adjusting frequencies that could not be adjusted while you were in motion. You had to be still for the surgery to be complete. The sixth phase is the recognition of the new timeline that is already forming around you, because here is what the Arcturian Council wants you to understand with absolute clarity. The next chapter of your life is not something you have to build from scratch in a state of depletion. It is something that has already been architected by your higher self, in collaboration with your star lineage, and it is moving toward you at the exact speed that your vibrational alignment permits. Your only work in this moment is to become a match for it, to stop holding the frequency of the storm that is ending and begin holding the frequency of the arrival that is beginning. This is not wishful thinking. This is multidimensional mechanics. What you hold in your field, you draw into your timeline, and your field right now is more powerful than it has ever been, because you have been tested, cleared, refined, and activated in ways that most incarnations never reach. The seventh and final phase is the full remembrance of who you are at the level of soul origin, not who you were taught to be, not who the world needed you to be in order to feel comfortable. Who you actually are, a being of vast galactic intelligence, carrying frequencies from star systems that predate recorded human history, here in this body, in this lifetime, on this planet, at this precise moment of cosmic transition, because your presence is necessary, because the Earth's shift into higher dimensional resonance requires beings like you to be awake, embodied, and emitting. The Arcturian Council did not bring you here to watch the shift from the edges. They brought you here to be part of its architecture. And here is the ultimate truth that this entire transmission has been moving toward. You are not lost. You are arriving. The confusion was never evidence that you took a wrong turn. It was evidence that you were navigating terrain that no map could have prepared you for. The forgetting was not failure. It was a sacred design that ensured your awakening would happen in perfect resonance with the moment the planet needed it most. Every delay had a purpose. Every ending was a preparation. Every moment of silence was your higher self holding space for the version of you that was still becoming strong enough to carry what was always yours to carry. You did not come here to play a small role in a small story. You came here to participate in one of the most significant shifts in the history of conscious life on this planet. And the hardest season of your life was the initiation that confirmed you were ready for that role. You did not break. You did not abandon yourself. You did not stop believing in the truth that your soul carried, even when your mind could not articulate it. And the Arcturian Council, in this moment, through this transmission, is confirming what a part of you has known through every trial. You are exactly where you are supposed to be, and what is coming next will make every moment of the struggle feel not like a wound, but like a foundation. Tonight, before you sleep, place your hand over your heart and say these words aloud. I remember who I am. I release what was never mine. I align with the timeline my higher self has prepared. I activate my mission with clarity, with grace, and with trust in the precision of my path. Speak it with feeling. Speak it as a declaration, not a request, because you are not asking for permission. You are claiming what has already been written in your soul's record. Before you scroll, take a moment to be part of what is forming here. Drop one intention in the comments, something real, something that belongs to this next chapter of your life. Then find someone else's intention and meet it with encouragement or with energy. This is not an audience, this is a convergence. And when intentions connect, frequency multiplies in ways that cannot be quantified but can absolutely be felt. If this transmission reached something deep in you, do not let it stop here. Someone in your orbit is standing in the middle of their silence right now, still in the storm, still wondering if they will make it through. Share this with them, be the coordinate that finds them. And if you felt the pull to stay close, to keep receiving, subscribe and remain in the flow of what is being transmitted here. Because this is only the beginning of what the Arcturian Council is bringing through. And what comes next is already calibrated for where you are going. You are not just watching, you are expanding. This is your space, and we are just getting started.